Good early morning, and welcome to the Sess Videoz Show. It's early morning. Um, it's Sunday morning, 6 a.m., and I've been up most of the night anyway. I decided to do a late show. I got a great topic. It's a personal topic to me. Recently, my life has been full of turmoil. A little hurt, a little pain, a little regret. And I'm a person that thinks things through and thinks things over. And if I'm in the wrong, then I like to admit that I'm in the wrong because I like to consider that that's part of the growing process. Plus, I'm somebody that if you're wrong and I think you're wrong, I'll be very verbal about it. I'll even be loud about it. So I feel like when I'm wrong, I should see it for myself that I'm wrong and be equally loud and verbal about it. And this topic is, I don't know if it's a wrong or right topic, but I think it's a wrong or right topic. But let me just go in. So I don't want to go into all of the sketchy details of it, but I'm just going to sum it up. So I've been going through some things with my girlfriend, and I realized some things were my fault. Without going into too much detail, some things that took place between us were my fault because I had some hang-ups with myself, and she paid the price in another way. You know how they say hurt people hurt people? Well, it's true. Hurt people do hurt people. So instead of doing a show where I'm going to talk about examples of other people and criticize their life and what they should be doing, I'm going to use my life and use myself as an example and criticize what I should have done better and what I had planned to do, what my growth would be from my experience. So, long story short, there's this thing that I learned as I'm getting older. As you get older, when you're wrong about something in life, it hurts more because you tend to be wrong about it for a long time. As we get older, we get more stubborn about things. You know, we're comfortable in our safe zone of the things we think we know. And sometimes the things we think we know, we don't have a lot of experience with it, even though we went through it. Meaning, like, you could get hit by a car, but you don't have a lot of experience with getting hit by a car, so you don't know what the process is. You know, I use something negative as an example, but you don't know the processes of getting hit by a car. When you get hit by a car, what happens when you lay down in the street? What happens when the ambulance comes? You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes in life, you have things that you've been living by, things you've been going by for a long time, and you think that they're right, and they may not be. And that's what I was subject to. My experiences have taught me certain things. My experiences had made me afraid. I had a home and everything younger than my father, and I took a great loss. I didn't really have a security team around me, not a security team, but a backup team, somebody, a group of people that would tell me it's okay. Sometimes you fall down and you can get back up. And instead of having that kind of counsel, I got lost in myself. So I began to hide. You know, I was a really proud person. It's a drawback to being proud. When you're proud and you fall down, you often don't want anybody to see. And I was too proud. I didn't want anybody to see I was needing help. I was hurting, you know. And on top of that, the world isn't very conducive to a man in pain. It is to a woman in pain, but not to a man in pain, especially in America. So, you know, I had to kind of hurry up and pull myself together the best that I could. And I don't think I allowed myself enough time to heal and get by when I needed to. Now, with all that being said, I'm getting to the point of what I'm talking about here, but I just wanted to give a little filler background. Not an excuse, just an explanation. I'm a realist, so I don't believe in excusing myself out of things. You know, I believe in accepting full responsibility for it and trying to move forward. So anyway, now, we have been going through some things recently, and we've been talking about getting married, my girlfriend and and I've been giving it real serious thought. And I began to realize that she used to always say to me, I live like I'm single. Once I began to think about marrying her and what it would be like to be a husband for the rest of my life and how permanent that is, I began to realize I was hiding some pieces of myself from her. And those pieces of me started to cry out to be heard, even though they were pieces that I was ashamed of. I guess that's the way love works, you know? And like I said, we had a lot of things going on. A lot of things was happening. Maybe in another show I'll go into more details. Maybe a part two I'll tell more details. But it's pretty up there. And I realized that I was hiding parts of me from her because I knew, I knew that a good woman, a woman of any worth, would not want me as the man that I was, as the man that I am right now. And I have been for many years with her. And she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. I tried to reason in my mind and say, you know, that's what love is, and you love her, and if there was things like that to come up, you could deal with it. Yeah, but that's me. I shouldn't expect her to do what I can do. It's not fair. That's partially what I've been doing to her all these years, imposing my own views and feelings on her. I did that because I had lost the little power I gathered for myself. I'd always been a popular guy. I've always been a move around guy. I have my own stuff kind of guy. And at some point in my 20s, I took a fall and was unable to get back up from it for many years. Many years. Sometimes you get damaged and you lay down and you can't stand up. I get it now. Yeah, but so I was imposing my will on her and criticizing things about her, and it was destroying her. It was tearing her up inside, which I understand because I had been on the receiving end of that at another point in my life. But I leveled with her. I finally came straight out and I leveled with her, and I said, you know, baby, this is who I am. It was tears. It was hurtful because no one likes to accept the truth. The truth usually hurts. And when you can accept the truth about yourself and admit the truth about yourself, that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard pill to swallow. And I give myself credit for being able to finally reach that point because for me, whether she stays or go, it's growth. It gives me the opportunity to change and make myself into a better man. I made up my mind that since I could finally put these truths out to somebody, I may never need to repeat them to another woman, but I'm going to leave them with her. I mean, if she decides to leave, then I'm going to leave these truths with her and become who I'm meant to be, who I feel that I am inside now, that I've passed all of the pain and I want to be better for myself. But if she decides to stay, then I'm going to be a better me and a better man for her. But this show, I guess, was meant to fill in anybody out there that's in hurt, that's going through a little bit right now, like myself. She spent the night out this morning with her family. I'm not sure. You know, when you're in love, you make up things. I'm not sure if she did it to get away from me or not. But she spent the night out, so I was here alone by myself, which is not the norm. I'm usually here with my woman and my child in the house. So I'm home alone by myself now, and it's the most maddening thing. If you love your family as a man, being quiet at certain times of the day is one thing, but when they're not there or they left you, it's another thing. And she didn't leave, she's not here, but I just wish they were. Because of the difficulties going on, I just want her close all the time. So now, it brought me to this point of the key point to my reason for even having this podcast. So this podcast, I'm going to title it The Truth About Love. So now the truth about love is this. What do you have? What do you do when your partner, like I did tonight, opens all the way up to you? They bite their tongue, they swallow their pride, they accept who they are for whatever reason it is. And they want to move forward, and they're telling you the truth on who they are, hoping or wanting or testing or whatever to see if you can still love them in the state that they're in. I don't know. I'm a romantic. So I would like to think in my mind that if someone did that, you know, the person would think that this person loves me enough to open up all of them to me. And I love them enough to stay and accept them as they are. But you know, on the same hand, though, I can understand if a person didn't want to stay and accept me as I am, because when you speak the truth about yourself, there's a lot of ugliness, a lot of things you admit and accept. And you can't accept the person just because you love them to accept these things about you that you have to live with yourself, because you have to live with yourself. So the scary part is when you open up wide to someone now, they have the option to say no. And I think this is where love goes astray with most people. Most people take the option of saying no instead of the long walk of trying to love that person as they are. And then not even them, because the person getting the news isn't the worst. The person giving the news is the worst in that situation. And when you express who you truly are, if you're an ugly person, like I had been being an ugly person for a lot of years, then you run the risk of losing the person you love. Now, I know it's some people that'll hold an argument and say, oh, see, that's why you shouldn't lie from the beginning going in. But let's face it, let's be honest. When you first meet somebody, it's based in lies. The way you dress, the way you carry yourself, the way you act, it's based in lies. That's why when you date, you get to know each other better. You go out on dates to get to know each other. The dating is an attempt to see through the masks and the falsities that people use to attract partners and friends. That's why we date. So I think it's only logical to realize that if you're in a relationship with someone, and especially if it's been years like it's been with me and my girlfriend here, and then you drop things on them that they couldn't see or didn't know about you years later. Mind you, this has been like 12 years later. With a lot of my actions I've been doing over the full 12 years. I just couldn't see the damage I was causing. I couldn't see the pain that I was in myself. But it still brings you to the question, what do you do now? What happens next? For me, in my situation, now that I opened up and I told her so much stuff about myself, and I admitted so many things about myself, so that I can move forward with her. She has the option to leave now that she knows and she sees how much hurt I had caused her. She can't see right now that it was an accident. I didn't know better, and I thought it was the right thing to do at the time, even though it feels and sounds stupid now that I'm on the other side of it. I'm on the other side of the emotional end that I needed to be on at the time. But that's what it felt like at the time. I needed to do that to keep her. I couldn't allow her to see who I truly was because she would leave. So what happens now that I've expressed all of who I am in all the ugliest details? What happens now? She has the right to leave or anything she wants. Although I'd hope that she stays. But what happens now? So who am I to be now? Because the reason for me telling her these things about myself was so that I wouldn't have to hide from her anymore. And I was hiding from her in my attitudes and my points of views and my actions, things I would say. So now that I exposed all of that, I'm no longer that person that I'd been holding up for all these years. I showed her the person that I am underneath, what I'm trying to get from under. So in a sense, she doesn't even know the person that I am because I've been showing her somebody else for so long. So it brings me back to the question, what happens now? I think we need to give, all of us, when we make decisions in relationships about ourselves and our partner, we need to give it more serious thought. We need to become more open. We're all looking for love. Now, you may find all the words and excuses around things to find on why you're not and you're not ready and all of that things, but we're all looking for love. In love, you're only not ready because you just hadn't met the right person. But when you meet the right person, commitment and all those things automatically kick in. You automatically become ready. So, I was ready when I met her. I'll be 40 in a matter of a few weeks. Some serious things that went down that made me start looking at things a little bit more seriously. and I want better for myself and my family. So I realized I had to open up and tell her who I am. So what happens now? So on the other end, if you're the person that just learned some things about your partner, as hard as it might be to swallow, it goes in another direction too, because you now have the option yourself to open up to that partner. If you're wise enough to see that this person loves you enough to open themselves up to you, they've opened up all of who they are to you, and you know it's all of who they are because they told you the ugly things about themselves, the things about themselves that no one likes to address and no one likes to talk about, the things about themselves that everyone hides all the time. So now that this person that you spend a lot of your life with has opened up and told you who they really are and that they're sorry and they want to become someone else, that's why they're even telling you this. I don't want to impose my views, but for me, I would like to think if the tables were turned, this is now my opportunity. If I love this person, this is my opportunity to truly love them. This is my opportunity to take them as they are. This is my opportunity to show them that I love them as they are. But I'm not negating how difficult some of the facts that, for example, my girlfriend learned about me may be for her. Now, it wasn't anything about no cheating for me or nothing like that. It was a bit deeper. It was on a spiritual, social end with her. How I had been treating her. How I made her feel about herself, about me, about our relationship. You see, women out there, listen. The man, we run on all ego. If you have a son, you're teaching your son to live on all ego. That's what a lot of people think the masculine energy is. And men spend their lives learning that that's not all being a man is. The ego is selfish. And as you get older, once you fall in love, the thing you learn about love is not selfish. The hardest lesson for a man that's trying to do good by his woman, by his family, the hardest lesson for a man is to remember to not put myself first as a man. Even though my entire life I've learned to be the boss and the leader and follow my ego and build from that. When you get a woman in your life and you have children and you love them, you learn that you're not the center of the world. You're not the most important thing. And sometimes that lesson is hard felt. It's hard to let go. Especially if you're somebody that actually live life and you try to do things and you've made accomplishments. No one tells you what it is to lose things. They only encourage you to go out and try hard and build and get. But no one sits you down. Your father doesn't sit you down and say, son, you'll have great successes in life, but you'll have great falls too. And when you fall, this is how you get up. Fathers don't teach their sons that lesson. Or at least my father didn't teach me that lesson. So I learned it on my own. And it took me 12 years to realize what I come to realize and then share it with my partner. And she got every right to bail. It will hurt, but it comes from understanding. And I wouldn't even bother her because she'd be right to choose that option. But with that said, though, in the same breath, I'm hoping that she can see that it's an opportunity for her to get a little closer to me. Not even a little, a lot closer to me, because there's no more veil between me and her now. Now it's just strictly me and her. There's no more veil. There's no more places for me to hide. I had exposed all my hiding spots. I given them all to her because I want to marry her and be with her. And as difficult as this time might be, it just feels right. It feels that if we can see through this, then this is the woman that's meant to be my wife and I'm meant to be her husband. I ask my friends that's married, how do you know? And they all tell me the same thing. When she's the right one, you never can tell somebody how they know, because the how you know is slightly different for each person, but you will know. You'll just know. And with this woman, I just know. I do. A good friend of mine told me she's always right. That's a sign that it's her. And this woman, like my mother, is always right. Burns under my skin, but she's always right. So I'm just going to call this show a quick show, just a quick topic. This is the truth about love. This is the truth about love. Most of us are in love and we don't open up to each other and tell each other the true things about each other. But the thing about it is, in order to open up and tell your partner the truth about yourself, you have to get to know yourself. You have to invest time in yourself and get to know yourself. You have to get to know not just the good parts, but the bad parts too. Don't paint yourself in a box and make yourself better than everybody else by only looking at your good attributes. Look at your bad attributes, because those are the things you could work on. And if you can't work on them, then you should at least know them, so you know that they're there, so you know to accept them. So when you're using your bad attitude and things like that on people, you can remember to say sorry, because you accept and know that this is part of me. So you can know to go back to these people that you might have hurt, because that's part of you that you can't change, or you won't change, or you don't want to change. But at least you acknowledge that it's there and it's part of you. So get to know yourself first. And once you know yourself, you'll see those ugly things. And then now, do you have the balls enough? Are you brave enough? Are you strong enough to tell your partner these things about yourself? And that partner, are you strong enough to accept that truth that your partner is telling you about themselves, without tearing them down, without criticizing them, without telling them how fucked up a person they are, but accept them as a human being, because we're all fucked up inside, all of us. We're all fucked up inside. It's part of being human. So can you accept your partner completely opened up to you, understanding themselves and giving of themselves from the deepest part of who they are? Can you accept that? Can you accept them as they are and still love them and forgive them for being themselves and forgive them for even the wrong they might have done to you? Do you have that capacity in you? Because you have to remember, your partner found the capacity to tell you the truth about themselves because they love you. I'll just leave it at that now. This is the Sess Videoz Show. I had to get this topic off my chest. I hope it gets a lot of views, not for the financial reason, but I hope to get a lot of views because a lot of people will listen and pay attention to the lesson in it. I hope this encourages even one person. No, fuck that. I hope this encourages 10,000 people. I hope it encourages 10,000 men to look at their woman and say, baby, this is who I am. And I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better. I want to be better. I don't know how to be better. But this is who I am. And can you love me like this? Because I'm loving you by showing all of me. So, can you love all of me? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Sess Videoz Show. Like and subscribe, please. Leave comments. Let me know how you feel, your point of view. Repost, let other people hear this. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Sess Videoz. And I'm out.